All right, you don't know what this is. We've talked about it before on the show, but now it's time to get serious. This is ILNL. All right, welcome to ILNL. As you see, it's just me in the studio, but have a really cool interview for you guys. I talked about this sport called Fling golf and how I'm just completely obsessed with it. But it just so happens that there's going to be a tournament in the DC area that I hope that you attend, because then you'll get to meet me and a few other great people that's there. But on top of that, we're actually going to learn a little bit more about the sport and the event itself. First, time for a little introduction. So, the person that I have for you is a veteran of the sport, has attended every single event there is in Fling golf, besides a couple other people, but that's an amazing feat unto itself. Is the two-time Masters champ, and they're actually from the area, West Virginia, Capon Springs, West Virginia, to be as a matter of fact, and actually the home course is from Capon. So, without further ado, this is going to be kind of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring it to you, Jonathan Bellingham. John, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. We got a beautiful day right here, and as soon as you're done with me, I'm going out there to play some fling golf.
Oh, you just twisting the knife like that. But it's great to have you on. And I just have to start off by saying one of the things that I really love about this is how we form this kind of community. Even though we're from different parts of the US and we get to have these types of conversations. So I just want to open it up and start with the whole big question, because even when I bring out my fling stick and someone just looks at it and just like, what is that? And then all of a sudden I just let the ball go. Their whole world just shatters in front of them. So I want to start with that, and then we can get into like a little bit more of the nitty gritty. But for you, explain for the people your definition of what fling golf is.
Well, I'm glad you explained it that way because it's been very interesting coming at it from almost what I consider the three different places that you can enjoy fling golf. I started out as a golf course owner. We've had our own golf course. My job was to make sure we had recreational activities. One of our guests said, "Hey, you should try this fling golf." And like most people, I said, "Oh, what, like frisbee golf or something?" Or no, no, no. This is something completely different. This is back in 2016 when I first heard of it. So myself, I'm not a traditional golfer. I've my best friend from high school is. I go out just as a community event to do with him. But myself, it was a lesson in frustration, anger management, and like for a lot of people, it just wasn't worth the time. Too stressful. And then fling golf comes along, and I knew I had to learn the sport in order to share it with our guests. And lo and behold, it opened up the world to me in a way that I did not expect. Being able to take one stick designed for a regular golf ball, and after 20 minutes of learning some basics, I was off and running. And so it was the barrier to entry was so low, and then it was something that I could actually enjoy, be out on a beautiful golf course in a way that I could never do in traditional golf. And so it became something very personal to me then as a player. And so I'm like, I love this for myself. I love this for my business. And then, like a lot of us, you become an evangelist and you want
Yes.
other people to know about it. And that's opened up a whole other world for me where, I get to see the disbelief, the kind of the confused face turn into, well, let me try it, a little bit of openness, the cracks open, to then literally the joy that comes out when someone tries it and go, I had no idea. This is amazing.
I think for me, when I first saw this on the Ocho, and I love the Ocho. I just want to get that out there. Everyone that watches knows that
Yeah.
I love the Ocho. Um, and this strange thing called Fling golf just comes on, and I'm laying down in my living room. My wife is with me. She's kind of half watching, and I keep complaining. I need to do something for exercise. I just need to do something for exercise. This Fling golf thing comes on my screen, and I said to my wife, "I'm gonna do that." And she was like, "Yeah, okay, you're saying that. We'll see what happens." But then
Right.
as I kept watching, it became more serious for me. And then I was like, no, I think I could really do this. And so she started paying more attention because she's worried about me. And by the end of the broadcast, both of us were thinking, oh man, maybe we both could do this. This could be fun. And so I went and immediately got my flank stick, waited for it to get to me in the mail. Steve, thank you for sending it out to me. And I went to Top Golf. And the moment I hit Top Golf and I put the ball in the carriage, I just watched 120, 130, 140 yards. And I was like, this is insane. Someone who's struggled with a golf swing, wasn't really raised in the sport of golf, doing over 100 yards first try. So then the true test was going to the golf range. Um, and there's people there with all their full set of clubs, and I'm
Yep.
just there with just the one stick, and they're just looking at me like, who's this oddball? And I just see some of them struggling to hit. I go there with a bucket of balls. Like, I made the mistake. You can pay the lower price and get less balls, and pay the higher price and get more balls. I
Right.
was just like, this is going to take me forever. I bought the big bucket of balls. I was gassed by ball 40 because it was just so fast and effortless. Um, and so then other people just started getting curious. It's like, what's that? And just like how we are as evangelists, you just put it in someone's hands. And at first it doesn't make sense. And then you do it. And then you do it a second time, a third time. And then the question comes up, how do I get one? And so I think the best story out of that was one time I was just flinging balls, and father and son were at the golf range. And the father was just amazed at it. His son is struggling with his junior set. He puts um, my fling stick in his hand, and the kid just goes at it. And you just see how the excitement, and that for me was when I felt the barrier could get so low that a kid could get it. That's when you made the game accessible. And that for me was like the point. I was like, whenever I get a chance, I want people to experience this thing. And that's what it was for me. So I want to open this up for you because you come from a very unique perspective. Being that you have more experience with being part of the game, with having a course under your belt, what has been the transformative part of the sport that made you say, this is something I need to include when visitors come?
Well, you hit the nail on the head because you're actually, whether you knew it or not, that's the origin story of fling golf. When Alex came up with the idea, it was his he didn't want to leave his wife and kids behind when he went out and didn't want to make a golf widow, and so he wanted to create a sport that they could do together as a family, and that has been so repeatable. You wouldn't imagine if you polled the people in the fling golf community how many times it started with oh, well, I was at a resort and we've done all the traditional things. We want to do something as a family. Hey, let's try this fling golf. That's where probably at least half of the top 20 players in the country have come from that first experience.
Hmm.
And so for me here at the resort, knowing that I wasn't a traditional golfer and knowing our course was not getting all the attention it could use, I figured there had to be other people. So I didn't get serious about it until 2023, this past summer. But every week I would hold a clinic and a demonstration. And the fun part was my sweet spot is about 120 yards. So I'd start out 120 yards in front of a green. And I would say, "Oh, what's fling off? Let me show you." And 9 times out of 10, I could park that puppy right on the green. And that's when the draw drops and the family go, "Well, let me try." And so whether it's, typically it'll be women, to be honest, who haven't really
Hmm.
been invited into the golf world as much, or kids who feel like golf is too intimidating for them. They are now doing it on our course. And so after 10 weeks of the summer doing that, became obvious to me that this is something, not just for me, but now the whole state of West Virginia has seen the value of doing this and want to expand it out in the state parks. And one of the reasons that we even are having this conversation is one of our guests said, I live in the DC area and I was out at East Potomac, and it looks like the National Links Trucks is trying to do something to make the sport more accessible and build up these public courses. So you ought to get a hold of those folks and see if Fling Golf could be part of that. And that's what's kind of led us to organize this demonstration clinic. Because the terminology in Fling Golf is, if you're the first one to play on a course, the term is you've liberated it. You've freed it
Exactly.
from the
Yeah.
bonds of traditional golf. So this is, in a way, a mass liberation of Rock Creek Park a week from Saturday, and just to get everybody to understand that this can go right along with traditional golf. It's not a replacement. You play along, you fling. I fling with my buddy who's a traditional golfer, and it's just made it much more accessible and opened up a whole community to golf that never knew about it.
I I piggyback on that with my first tournament in Massanutten. Um, and thankfully I had Austin, aka Showtime, who was walking me through just the experience of being on a course. And um, for the first time in my life of ever doing anything dealing with the golf course, I did 18 holes, which was amazing because I don't know if I can even walk to my to my mailbox without feeling winded. But I did train a little bit so I could last for most of it. But just the feeling of it all was probably the best part of it. It was like something that you may have not thought you could do. You now had the ability to do, and yeah, like it was strange to watch other foursomes with their with their golf club sets, and then watching us. It was just a spectacle, but the accessibility again. We had some of those traditional golfers during that tournament ask us about, what it is that all of us are doing, and the whole thing of liberation. Like I'm for that too, because I have. There's been times that I've gone to places, and just my club has been the invitation to get me in, because of just the novelty of it all.
Yeah,
Um,
uniqueness. So it has. It's opened doors for me. I've played on courses I would never be able to play with. The Greenbrier, the Homestead. I've been on some championship level courses because of the curiosity of it, and it's opened doors that I never thought possible.
so I'm with you on the whole thing of the accessibility, but I'll ask you this question before we talk about the event, because I think that's a really big part of the conversation, and I'm glad you brought that up. For you personally, being that you've played multiple venues in the sport, and to the point of being the reigning, defending, undefeated champion,
Yes, sir.
um, what has been the most gratifying part of moving into this sport? Um, for Austin, when talking to him, his big thing was being the evangelist, um, making sure people know that the sport um, exists in a way where anyone, no matter age, range, skill level, can play. Um, he wants to really promote that message. What's the message that you want to promote? Being that you have the experience and the titles under your belt.
Well, part of it is something you've already mentioned. That's community. It's the same kind of thing that can happen in very rare occasions. And I've been in all sorts of different communities. I've had many passions in my life, and it's given me access to all from other kinds of sports. My background is a distance runner. That was my life for a while, but I've done
Mm.
all sorts of things that have made me part of the community. And this community in particular is such an interesting variety of knuckleheads.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's an innovator, anyone who's willing to try something different and be on the front edge of something that most people don't understand and aren't, there's a barrier to anything new. It's gone from being something that's just my own personal story and something I do, it gives me, private joy, to your point, in Austin's too, is to sharing with other people. And we all know in life when we have something that we love, the next evolution of that is you want everybody to be able to experience the same thing you
Exactly.
have.
Yeah.
And that has brought me, I'm at a point in my career where I'm, it's some people say, oh, you're probably near retirement. What's your next phase? And the joke is, oh, when you retire, you have more time to play golf. Well,
Right.
this is a whole new take on that. This is a whole new thing. If I have free time, what am I spend my time doing? It's myself being able to play, but it's being the ambassador piece, being able to see who else could enjoy doing this sort of thing. And, of course, the athlete in me says, I want those competitions.
Yeah.
I, like you said, I got some defending to defend, and that's motivated me to take care of my health better, to be honest.
Mm.
Which when you do that, you become a better person. It's just a package that all in one way of me to put my energies into something where I'm giving back. I'm getting my own health and joy from it. And I'm connecting with people who, some of which in any other walks of life, I probably have no reason or cross paths with them. But Fling Golf is giving me an opportunity to kind of go, huh, that's a different kind of person. I never thought, we'd have much in common, but our love of Fling Golf has brought us together.
I want to bring that right into the upcoming event that's happening in March in a couple of weeks. The the one thing I can say that I enjoy about the sport is how easy it is to invite people to be a part of it. And so I've invited a few of my friends, and you're going to get to meet some table mates from ILNL.
Cool.
But outside of that, just the fun of doing something on a Saturday, and that's what I feel this clinic is going to help to promote. Outside of the whole thing of awareness of the sport, but also an alternative to what you could be doing during that same time on a Saturday. Um, I wanted to talk more about this clinic that's coming up. So for those that don't know, um, there's clinics that happen across the U.S. For fling golf, where you get to go ahead and get yourself a fling stick, put it in your hand, and give it a try. And we're going to be part of one that's happening on the, correct me if I'm wrong, 23rd, correct? 23rd,
Yes, 23rd of
23rd
March,
of March. It's going to
Saturday.
be Rock Creek Park, Rock Creek. Uh, what's the name of the course? The Rock
Yeah,
Creek
Rock Creek Park
Park
Golf
Course.
Course. Yeah.
Thank you. And so um, I'm excited for this because this is happening in the city, and um, just it's one, it's going to be fun, but the big thing is you get to learn and learn about the sport. So for you, being that you're the reigning, defending host of the event, um, what are some of the things that someone can expect when they come out to the clinic? And I guess the big question, of course, is going to always be about accessibility. Being that this is a clinic, what do you feel someone should expect when they first experience what we've experienced when it comes to playing golf with a fling stick?
Great question. And first, I don't want to forget People are getting a twofer. They're not just getting me, but they're getting Austin himself, the player of the year, the world champion. He has his own golf course. We've had parallel lives, but he's the master, and in more ways than one. And because, as you picked up his nickname, Showtime, he's just a lot of fun. So he and I are going to share first our personal story, and this is an opportunity for many levels of interaction. We're hoping anyone will come out just to watch and hear about it without even necessarily, if they get motivated to pick up a stick and try, they can do it at that time and just in the clinic piece of it. But well, we're also not just demonstrating how to do it and giving some people a chance to both do the drive, the chip, and the putt. And for clarity, it really is one stick for everything. You're not switching out; it's one stick. So, but after that, what you're getting for those who sign up, and the great thing about Rock Creek is they were able to give us a very reasonable rate. I don't know where in the city you can pay $35 and get to play 5 holes with a cart with some master instructors going along. So for those who sign up, like you and your friends, you're going to be able to go out with one of us. There'll be at least 8 of us who played in a professional tournament before as a foursome and play a scramble, a best ball, where we'll all throw one. We go to, we'll move along. We go to the best ball. I'm hoping it's one of us, but if we're training you right, you're going to surprise you. It's been a mix of emotions where I've taken someone out, and then on the third hole, they're throwing further than I am. Part of me is upset. Part of me is proud. So,
Right.
So that's what's going to happen. So at 12 o'clock ish, introductions. We're going to talk about Rock Creek. We're going to give the general manager there, Jimmy Garvin, a chance to talk about what's going on there, because part of what we're trying to do as a sport is lift up golf courses in general, especially ones that want to be public access. So this is a chance for people to see the before Rock Creek Park. We're not pulling any punches here. It needs a lot of tender loving care. It's not in the best shape, but there's some big plans to turn it into a really excellent course. And not to make it so it's super fancy and expensive, but to make it a really nice course and still make it accessible. So, full disclosure, you're not coming, if you've never been there, you're not coming to a pristine country club kind of course. It's a country course that needs some work. But we're going to be able to, we're going to actually have some sandwiches. We got actually something brand new. It's not advertised yet. We're having swag bags. Austin and I are putting together some goodies for people. There's only 24 slots to be able to get this playing lesson and, the one-on-one with Austin and myself. And so all that will last about 2 hours. And if you're so moved and inspired, the course is letting people then get regular tee times and play the 9 holes. All of us see it as practice after that. We're sharing the love of the sport, but we need to get practice in. We're only a month out from our first stop on the World Tour.
Right.
So we enjoy playing with each other. So we're going to be playing starting around 2:30 or so when we're done instructing. And tee times can be had for that as well, for anyone else that wants to just keep playing in the afternoon. All this is based on the fact that we're going to have this gorgeous weather.
Yeah.
You never know the forecast. I'm there, rain or shine. We can always, talk about it and be indoors, and I have some foam balls, and there's, it's still going to happen. Maybe not to the level that we love if the weather's bad, but we're not fair weather sports. We've played one of our tournaments in pouring down rain and horrible winds in San Diego, of all places.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that was one of the ones that was on Ocho, was the San Diego one.
Yep.
So we just want anyone to come out, even if we say Fling curious. If you're Fling curious and just want to see it, you're welcome to. It doesn't cost anything. Just do that part of it. But if you're a little more curious, then yeah, please register on their website, and we'll have all the equipment. You don't have to bring a thing. We got the balls, we got the Fling sticks, we got everything.
And if you're like me, you probably have 2 or 3. So there's definitely going to be more sticks around to get everybody involved. Follow-up question to that. So being that potential new players will have the ability to learn, what's some of the techniques that you like to use when you play that you're going to teach?
Well, the first thing, and to be honest, I was just in DC yesterday, going over the course again, talking to some of the folks there, and one of the I'm not sure his official title or his assistant pro, whatever. He's Jerome. He's hoping to be there when we're there. He'd seen it. He watched the videos. He got excited. I took him out and I said, I know what you're going to do. This is the first lesson you need to learn. You're going to take the fling stick you're used to following through, and it's going to go straight down to the ground.
Yep.
Sure enough, it did for the first probably 8 or 9 throws. And then what it clicked for him, as I said, put your left elbow up. If you're right-handed, look up. Release it around 12 o'clock. Just think up. Don't worry about going far. Don't worry about whipping it. Your instinct is, I just want to hurl this thing as far as it can. No, get it up in the air out of the channel. And by the third hole, he was doing like you said. He was 100 yards in the air, and he had a big smile on his face. So that's what I'll be focusing on, that part. Austin is the king of the short game, so he's going to be focused on giving drills on the chipping and the putting, and that's like any form of golf. It's all in the short game. You can fling your way, 150, 200 yards. The serious guys are doing, but if you do a 3 or 4 putt, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. When I did my tournament in Massanutten, and I would just watch the concentration that Austin would have as he would set up for his shot, and I'd just try to mimic it. That just like with using regular golf clubs, the short game is where it's at. Like it's fun to see the distance that you can achieve.
Yeah. No thrill like that.
Yeah. But yeah, to win is definitely that short game. Now,
but this time it's about getting out and having fun.
Yes.
We're competitors and we get out there, we are serious and we concentrate, but next Saturday is about just getting out and feeling that thrill of being outside and walking. And you had that earlier point. It's the exercise, it's the outdoors, getting people just out doing something they enjoy. That's going to motivate you to go out and again, right?
Exactly. I want to add a quick point on that for those that are coming out. Be prepared to feel a little awkward just initially. And just like John, what you were saying with the pro, sometimes those first balls just don't come out the way that you expect especially if you see someone else do it. But it's just a matter of just doing it again. The motion, the rhythm will come, and when it hits, and you just see that long sail, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
If you hadn't said that, I was going to say that. It really isn't. And that's why I said it's repeatable. I'm like, is this just me thinking this? No. Everyone who's done the sport and gotten to that point, and that's the greatest feeling in the world.
I'll have this second question to you about the event itself as well. The whole thing of intimidation comes up, especially when you see other players who are a bit more experienced. What advice do you have for them as they get into this new sport? The exposure that this sport has garnered has made it seem like this is something where you have to be like the strongest, the most fit. And in reality, and speaking just for myself, I haven't lifted a weight in years. I don't even know if my back can support another weight, but that's neither here nor there. What should someone take into consideration to get past what could be the perceived fear in playing in something like this?
That's a good point, because every shape and size, and you'll see that even from us players who've done this before, every shape and size and age, people have tried it and have enjoyed it at whatever level they can. What's been really rewarding for me is hearing whether it's a traditional golfer who had to give up the game because of bad knees or some other physical ailment, are now feeling like I can get back onto the golf course in a way I couldn't before because the motion doesn't do to my back or shoulder or whatever. And Fling Golf itself is really embracing the ability for people, and this might be because of their entry into the military and vets. But we have a guest here this summer who's his whole life he's been in a wheelchair, and he's always been a wheelchair athlete, and he's always wanted to participate. And he says, maybe I could try Fling Golf. Nice. And sure enough, we got out there, and he was diligent, and it went in the ground many times before release. But once he got that one through the air, it was the same thing. So, yeah, my encouragement to you would be is this really is something that's available and open to all. And yes, get over the initial shyness or I'm not an athlete or I've never been coordinated. I've never been coordinated any kind of sports. That's why I run. I couldn't do baseball, basketball, any of the other kind of sports because of balance issues and other things. Anything you want to say. I was always a little guy, didn't have the strength. And so I like to say, if I can do fling golf, you could too.
Excellent. So we'll leave on this. The event again is on the 23rd of March from 12 to 4. And then you can play afterwards if you decide to, which if you have the inkling, please make sure that you do. Just make sure the times are correct, right?
Yeah, well, 12:30 to 2:30 is the instruction portion, and then
Thank you.
2:30 everyone's let loose to either keep playing on their own or practice or whatever they want to do.
Excellent. So this is the question to end off for us. Now, there has to be a secret. So you got to spill the beans. Here we go.
Okay.
What's the secret to be good? I'm going to put you on the spot. Now, I want everyone to know the
Wow.
secret.
Wow.
What's the secret?
Well, and this is why so much of sport isn't physical, it's mental. So I learned early on when it started to creep back in that the frustration of not performing where I think I should be is to relax and enjoy. Take a deep breath. You do better when you're relaxed and enjoy rather than focus on that shot. You have to practice. I guess I'll take this. I think it was from Ted Lasso. Be a goldfish. You did a bad shot, forget it. Move on. That's in the past. Focus on what's ahead of you. But it may sound cliche or trite that if you're not having fun, it's not working. But that has proven a case for me in tournament play to be able to breathe, relax. But things don't happen by chance. You got to put the work in. I up my game and put the work in, both for New England when I won the first Masters, and then especially when I had to defend in Virginia. I knew I couldn't be a casual player at that point, at that level. But for most people, again, it's just getting out and trying and being good and talking to the community is so good and with supporting you. You have ideas. There's a Facebook page where new people are all the time coming on. Hey, I tried this. What worked here? And someone will say, well, I tried this and do that. And it's about individuality. You watch people putting. Oh my goodness, everything under the sun. And I think Austin made a funny video about, all right, this is how Big Cat putts. This is the Mountaineer. This is how people are. And just poke fun a little bit because the great thing is you try not to overrule it. You don't want to stifle it like sometimes traditional golf and other sports layer on all these rules and regulations. And so fling golf primarily is about having fun.
Excellent. Wow. So I want to thank you, John, for being on. This is a pleasure to have you. This is a cool conversation, and I'm excited for us getting together on Saturday, and I hope that everyone else could be there too. So, John, thank you so much for being on ILNL. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. This was a blast for me. You just talking about it, I hope you can pick up that this is something that you have to shut me up because I can't stop talking about it.
Excellent. And guys, make sure that you come out on March 23rd, Rock Creek Park course. All the details will be in the description. I'm going to be there. A couple of us from ILNL are going to be there. I'm trying to see if I can get some more my DC, Maryland, Virginians to come out. And yeah, this is just going to be a blast. So with that, as always, thank you for watching and listening. Anywhere that you can see ILNL on social, you'll find us there for I Love Nerd Life. Of course, you have us here on YouTube. With that, for everyone that's a part of the show, I am Tim. Thank you again, and this is ILNL. See you guys next week.